Hi folks, it's John Morris here from the Acoustic Fingerstyle Guitar Studio, which, to remind you, is www.acousticfingerpicking.com. Today we're talking about the two different approaches to playing slide guitar. One approach is where we predominantly play the slide melody just on the first string, which involves having the slide on a slight angle, so it's not touching the other strings at all. One way to get used to this technique is to simply play the D major scale up and down the first string, from the open first string to the 12th fret, like this. Now it's very important that your slide is quite low and on a slight angle so it's not touching the other strings, but the angle shouldn't be so steep that it's going to crash into the side of the frets like this. Don't really want to hear that sound. What you need to do then is, once you've mastered that technique and you can play the D major scale, to play the major scale again with an alternating bass. So you'd play two bass notes for every note of the major scale, like this. Once that's mastered, you'll be able to have a go at playing some of Blind Willie Johnson's music. One simple example, and this is a simplified version of it, would be to play Nobody's Fault But Mine, which would sound like this. The second thing that you'd want to be able to do if you're interested in slide playing, and this would apply to bottleneck slide guitar as well as lap slide, is to be able to play single notes, one note at a time, in exactly the same way that you would do if you were playing normal lead guitar. This applies mainly if you're playing with other people, or you're playing electric slide in a band and you're wanting to improvise. This is the problem. If we can talk about these three notes, the 8th fret on the 3rd string, the 9th fret on the 2nd string, the 7th fret on the 1st string. Obviously when you play those three notes, which is a D major triad, we have three very clean single notes, like this. Now if we do that with the slide, it would sound like this. Bloody awful. The way we clean that up, firstly, is to continue to mute the strings behind the slide. In this case, when your slide's across 3 or 4 strings, you can just rest the whole 3 fingers on the strings behind the slide. And the second thing that's really important is to use a muting technique for the right hand fingers. So in this case, your thumb will be playing anything on the 3rd string, index finger anything on the 2nd string, and your middle finger will play notes on the 1st string. Once you've played the 8th fret of the 3rd string with your thumb, what we're going to do is rest that thumb back on that string at exactly the same time as your index finger plays the note on the 9th fret of the 2nd string. Now the same thing will apply when you're moving over to the 1st string to play the note on the 7th fret. We're going to rest the index finger back on that 2nd string note that you've just played at the same time as you pluck the 1st string. This is the exercise. As opposed to so we can get back to having 3 very clean and melodic notes. This will enable you to use the blues scale, the many variations of the blues scale, to improvise and play like this. This second approach to playing slide guitar lends itself to being able to play slide in standard tuning. Standard tuning doesn't really work very well for playing fingerstyle pieces where you'd have a slide melody and not letting bass or a monotonic bass. But it does work well for playing single notes and improvising in various keys, provided the muting technique is down and provided you're muting behind the slide. For example, some slide licks in the key of E major. Please visit us at the Acoustic Fingerstyle Guitar Studio, which is www.acousticfingerpicking.com. There you'll find support information and tablatures that will help you master these two very important approaches to playing slide guitar.